Welcome to the deep dive. We're getting into the material today, specifically looking at how the non-passive.
This is a preview file. For example, use This is a preview file. For example, use
It's all meant to be handled inside this one AI-powered OES platform. That's the core claim.
The AI part seems central, yeah. For the automation side of things, so who actually gets involved in this? The sources mentioned two main kinds of participants.
Correct. You've got the founders, sometimes called go-founders. They were the early birds, paid a one-time fee. And the material suggests they get priority placement in the automated team structure. Then you have affiliates or resellers.
Okay.
These folks promote products, earn commissions. It's presented as being open to everyone once OES launched globally. They earn on referrals, subscriptions, maybe a different setup than founders, structurally speaking.
Got it. So being early apparently had its perks, according to the source. Now, the structure for getting paid. The material says not all the details are public, but it outlines a main distribution method.
Yes, it describes a multi-level system, but framed as this AI-powered matrix. A 3x10 forced matrix or something along those lines is mentioned.
Meaning each spot can only have 3 directly underneath it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each position, yeah. And that leads directly to this idea of spillover.
Ah, right. Spillover. How does that work according to the sources?
Well, the explanation is, if you bring in, say, more than 3 people who subscribe or buy something, those extra people automatically spill over.
Okay.
They get placed under others in your downline team, even people you didn't personally recruit. It's positioned as a way even non-recruiters could potentially earn.
Right, so the structure itself is claimed to help build the team and earnings, not just your own direct effort. What specific ways to earn money are listed?
The material mentions a few. Direct referral bonus, bringing in paying customers. Team bonus based on product sales in your team, including spillover, residual monthly income from those recurring subscriptions. Something called a global leadership pool for top performers, and an activation bonus when people start using paid services.
Okay.
It's all described as working through that matrix structure.
Sounds like the source lays out several possible income streams within the system. Now, the material also links this whole commission thing to a bigger idea about changing the world.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the pitch. It's framed around creating automated wealth for the masses. They talk about true passive income because the AI supposedly handles marketing, team building, all that.
Right.
And it's presented as offering equal opportunity, specifically mentioning how spillover might let even passive folks earn. And empowering businesses and people without tech skills.
Enabling digital empowerment.
Yeah, exactly. The sources even hint at future charity plans funded by revenue from this ecosystem. It's a very broad vision, tying the commission structure to, well, global economic leveling.
Okay, this brings us to the practical side. The sources talk about when commissions actually start. When is this system supposed to begin paying out?
Well, according to the material, the commissions unlock as the products in the OES shift from free to paid subscriptions.
Ah, okay.
Participants, especially founders, were told to activate their O-wallet, that's their internal payment system, to get ready for these earnings. The stated expectation was that automated earnings grow as more products require payment.
So payouts are directly tied to products becoming monetized via subscriptions in the ecosystem.
Yes. That's the core engine described. Subscription revenue shared with participants.
So wrapping this up based on the sources we've looked at, we've seen how the ONPASSIVE commission model is presented. It's centered on the OES platform.
Right, defining roles for founders and affiliates.
Structured in a matrix with spillover.
Outlining various income streams.
And framed with these big claims about automated wealth and changing things globally. And it's consistently presented as subscription-based and AI-driven.
Exactly. And if you connect all that, the whole model, as described in these sources, really hinges on that automation and the steady income from subscriptions. Which, leads to an interesting question.
Yeah, considering that heavy reliance on automation and subscription money presented in the sources, What does a model like this suggest about the future? About how earning potential and wealth distribution might be imagined in a world leaning more on digital automation? Definitely something for you to mull over.
Indeed. Food for thought.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time. Well, an AI-driven business ecosystem called ONPASSIVE, founded by Ash Mufareh.
Right. And this source, it paints a picture of OnPassive as this really comprehensive suite of digital tools, integrated tools,
Okay.
all using AI, supposedly, to automate and, enhance pretty much all parts of business operations. It's framed as a complete digital transformation solution.
Got it. So the goal here, I guess, is to look past that sort of high-level description
Exactly.
and try to get a real sense of what these tools actually are, at least according to the source, and how they're supposed to fit together to help you navigate the whole digital landscape.
Yeah, precisely. The core idea presented is having all these different business functions packed into one single platform, and AI is the engine driving it.
Integration seems key then. The source lists quite a few tools, but how does it say they, tie together?
Well, the source frames it as getting rid of the need for all those separate apps and, data sitting in different places. Think of it maybe like a single digital nervous system for a business, where the tools are designed to potentially share data, automate workflows between each other. That's the pitch.
Okay, interesting analogy. Let's look at a couple of specific examples the source gives. It mentions ONET, describes it as a social networking platform. What's the angle there?
So the source really emphasizes data privacy with ONET. It positions it almost as an alternative to, traditional social media platforms that make money from user data.
Right, the data monetization aspect.
Exactly. It suggests ONET is built more for, let's say, authentic engagement, maybe within a business context or a specific community, rather than just mass advertising.
Okay, so less about selling data, more focused on secure connection. What about tools for core business tasks, like sales or e-commerce? The source talks about OLED as a CRM.
Yes, OLED. And the source highlights its use of predictive AI, specifically for managing leads and automating the follow-up process.
Predictive AI.
Yeah, the claim is that this AI helps businesses sort of understand and nurture their leads more effectively.
Makes sense. And for actually selling things, OS Shop E is mentioned as an e-commerce platform.
That's right, OS Shop P. The source describes it as being built for global e-commerce. And again, the focus is automation. Orders, inventory, payments, automating that whole chain. And the implication, within this whole ecosystem idea is that it would probably integrate pretty smoothly with other tools. Like maybe OLED could feed customer info right into OS Shop, potentially.
Right. That integration idea is starting to become clearer. How the source sees it. It even mentions tools for more specialized stuff, like O-Verify for identity verification.
Yeah, using AI and facial recognition for, compliance needs, know your customer type stuff, for secure identity checks.
Okay.
And then there's OConnect. That's their video conferencing and webinar tool. The source highlights features that it claims go beyond, say, Zoom or Teams.
Oh, like what?
Well, one big claim is real-time language translation capability during calls.
Whoa, okay. Real-time translation, that would certainly be something.
Definitely. And the source also brings up analytics tools,
Yeah.
like OTracker, for getting insights into website traffic.
Yes, O-Tracker.
Correct. So the source presents OTracker as offering deep, integrated analytics. The main point the source seems to make is that these aren't just isolated tools.
Right.
They're described as pieces built specifically to work together. And those AI enhancements, like the predictive stuff in OLED or the translation feature in OConnect, those are highlighted as key selling points by the source.
Okay. So it feels like we've really just scratched the surface here of this quite extensive integrated AI business ecosystem as the source lays it out anyway.
Absolutely. And if you connect all these pieces back to the bigger picture the source is painting, the vision is, well, it's pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
A single AI-powered platform that's intended to handle almost all of your digital business needs.
Yeah.
From finding customers right through to managing operations and understanding your performance data.
Which naturally raises a really important question for you, the listener, to think about. Given this description from the source, this idea of a deeply integrated AI-driven approach, what do you see as the main potential benefits? Or maybe what are the potential challenges or drawbacks of putting so many critical business functions onto just one single system? Something to consider as you plan your own digital strategy.
The company OnPassive.
Yeah, founded by Ashraf Mufareh, or Ashmufara. And it's not just a small change. It looks like a major overhaul is happening.
A complete transformation, really. The sources you sent over indicate the ONPASSIVE brand itself is, well, it's being phased out.
Exactly. And replaced by a totally new entity, something called Onfusion Technologies.
And this isn't way off in the future, is it? The timeline mentioned seems quite soon.
That's right. The target for completion, based on this material, is before the end of July 2025. So quite fast.
So our goal here is to really unpack what these sources say. Why this shift, what does Onfusion look like, and critically, what are the implications for everyone involved?
Well, starting with ONPASSIVE itself, the documents suggest it's set to cease operations pretty early next year in 2025.
Okay. And the reasons given. It sounds like a mix of things.
Yeah, the material points towards internal challenges within the company, but also, quite significantly, legal issues.
Legal issues. Let's focus on that. The main one highlighted seems to be from the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Correct. The sources detail a lawsuit where the SEC is alleging ONPASSIVE operated as a fraudulent multi-level marketing scheme.
A fraudulent MLM scheme.
Wow. And also sold unregistered securities. That's part of the allegation, too. But it's really important to stress the sources are clear. These are allegations within that SEC lawsuit.
Got it. Allegations, but serious ones driving this change. So if ONPASSIVE is winding down due to these issues, what about the new entity, Onfusion Technologies?
Right. So Onfusion is positioned to take over, offering similar kinds of AI-powered digital tools.
But the location, this is where it gets interesting, according to the material, not in the U.S.
No, based outside the United States. Specifically, the documents mention Palestine.
Palestine. Okay. And the stated reason for choosing Palestine?
The material explicitly suggests it's a move to potentially avoid U.S. jurisdiction. Given the legal context, that's noteworthy.
It certainly is. And how does Ashmufara fit in if he's facing legal issues in the U.S.?
Well, the sources say he's legally unable to leave the U.S. currently. So the plan described is for him to operate Onfusion remotely from the States.
Remotely running a company based in Palestine to avoid U.S. jurisdiction. That's quite a setup. What about the products people know?
They seem to be transitioning too, but with changes. The Onfusion ecosystem, which was formerly OES, will continue.
And OConnect. That was one of their big platforms.
It's mentioned, yes, but a modified version. The sources say the capacity is being drastically reduced.
How reduced?
Down from apparently 10,000 attendees to just 500. And the price point is expected to be lower too.
Okay, a major scaling back there. Now, what about the people? The affiliates, the founders?
The plan detailed in the material is to transition them founders, affiliates, and even their downlines, so the people they recruited over to Onfusion.
So they move over to the new company structure. But there's a catch, isn't there, regarding money owed?
Yes, and this is a huge point highlighted in the sources. There's apparently around $40 million in outstanding commissions owed to ONPASSIVE affiliates.
$40 million. And Onfusion?
Onfusion will not be honoring or paying those outstanding commissions.
It just won't pay them. What's the reasoning given?
Starkly put in the material, under this new structure, Onfusion Technologies has no legal obligation to pay the debts, specifically the commissions, of the old ONPASSIVE entity.
Wow. Okay, so for anyone involved, this is far more than just putting a new name on the door.
Absolutely. The sources portray it as a fundamental restructuring. Different location, different operational setup, changed products, and crucially shedding past financial obligations like those commissions, all happening under the shadow of that SEC lawsuit.
So just to quickly recap the key points from the material. ONPASSIVE is becoming Onfusion Technologies, based in Palestine, seemingly to navigate legal challenges in the U.S.
Right, and while people are expected to transition a significant amount, that $40 million in past commissions, according to the sources, won't be paid out by the new company.
Which really leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener. When you see a situation like this laid out a company facing serious legal allegations, restructuring its identity, moving jurisdiction, and making decisions that impact past financial commitments to its people, what does it tell us?
Yeah, what does this scenario reveal about the risks that can be embedded in certain business structures, especially during major transitions? And maybe consider how corporate restructuring, like the shift from ONPASSIVE to Onfusion, can affect individual stakeholders and redraw the lines around past obligations.
Definitely something to think about. And, behind the curtain, and for you, the user, the second you join or activate something.
Exactly. We've got this source material that lays it all out step by step. Our plan is to just walk through what happens when you flip that switch in ONPASSIVE.
It sounds like it's way more than just getting a password reset, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a whole chain reaction, mostly automated.
Okay, and the source suggests AI is, like, heavily involved.
Definitely. A huge part of the process seems to be AI driven.
All right, let's jump in. Where does it all begin? The absolute start.
So the material points to two main ways you get activated. First, you might buy a license for a specific product. Think OConnect, OMail, maybe Odesk.
Okay, like a one-time purchase thing?
Could be. Or maybe the second way, you sign up for a subscription. That could be monthly, could be annual.
Right, so you pick your product or plan. How do you actually pay? What does the source say about that?
It mentions a couple of routes. You can use OnPass's own internal wallet system, the O Wallet.
Oh, walls, okay.
Or it says you can use integrated third-party payment gateways. Probably depends on where you are, what you're buying.
Makes sense. So, okay, payment is successful, ping. What happens right then on their end instantly?
Yeah, this is where the system's internal gears start turning immediately. The back end instantly flags your account as active for whatever you just bought.
It's like a switch flips.
Pretty much. And at the same time, the AI engine starts updating your user profile based on this new activation, sort of logs what you now have access to.
And wasn't there something in the source about placement, if that applies?
Yes, exactly. If your setup involves being part of a team structure, they call it a team matrix, sometimes the system automatically places you or updates your spot in that structure.
And that's for?
Mostly for tracking things like potential earnings or commissions tied to your activity or your teams. It's an internal linkage.
Got it. So system side, you're marked active, profile updated, maybe placed in a team. But what about me, the user? What do I actually get right then?
That's what the source calls smart product deployment. And the key thing is, it's immediate.
So no waiting.
Apparently not. If you activated OConnect, boom, you can host or join webinars. If it was Odesk, your freelancer dashboard is live, ready to use.
And OMail.
Your AI-powered email is good to go.
Yeah.
OShop. Your storefront tools are active. It's instant access to the specific tool set you paid for.
The source mentioned some other tools too, didn't it? Like OTrim, OTracker.
Yep. OTrim for links, OTracker for analytics, OCapture for forms. Those utility and marketing tools also become available right away.
Wow.
And the source really emphasizes this whole process as well, AI-enhanced, supposed to be seamless and even configured based on your user level or preferences.
That instant access is pretty impressive.
Okay.
Let's switch back to the money side for a second, the automated part. The source calls it auto placement in the revenue model. What happens with the payment record itself?
Right. So the moment your payment's confirmed, the system logs that transaction in what sounds like a global commission system. It automatically registers your purchase value.
And connects it to?
It places that value within the earning structure linked to your sponsor or your team, if you have one.
So hang on. If I buy something and I was, say, introduced by someone else,
Yeah.
my purchase could automatically do something for them financially.
That's exactly what the source indicates. The system is set up to automatically figure out and allocate any relevant commission to qualifying members, like in your upline, based on your purchase. And it also calculates potential residual earnings for, well, anyone active in the system connected to that transaction chain.
And this is all hands-off.
Completely automated, according to the source. Real-time logging, allocation, calculation, and it's all meant to be transparent for the users involved.
That financial automation is definitely a core piece here. Now, there was something else mentioned, specific to like higher tiers, founders maybe, AI traffic allocation.
Yeah, that's right. This seems to be an extra step if you're a founder or maybe on a higher subscription level. The system's AI actually starts sending traffic to you.
Sending traffic? To where?
Yeah,
My ONPASSIVE profile.
could be. The source mentions directing it to your personalized site within the ecosystem, maybe your OShop store or even an OConnect webinar you're running.
What does AI-generated traffic actually translate to? Like real people?
It's described as actual visitors, potential leads, and even conversions being driven to your OnPassive presence.
And I don't have to do anything to get this traffic.
The source stresses it's fully managed by OnPassive's own automation. It's not traffic you're generating externally. It's part of the service for those tiers.
Okay, that's interesting. So lots happening under the hood. Activation, money flows, maybe even traffic. How do I, as the user, keep track of all this?
Through your dashboard, the source says your personal OnPassive dashboard updates basically immediately after you subscribe or buy. It's your window into everything.
And what kind of stuff would I see there?
Let's see. Product usage stats, definitely. Financial summaries, any commissions or earnings you might have. It mentions AI engagement scores, too.
Engagement scores.
Yeah, seems related to how you're using the system. Also, team growth info, if that applies to you. And these reports are supposedly AI-driven, showing trends, maybe even giving suggestions for optimizing things.
So the system keeps working for you even after the initial setup. The automation doesn't just stop.
No, not according to this. It's described as continuous AI support and automation. The idea is the system keeps doing tasks for you automatically as an active subscriber.
Like what kind of task? Can you give examples from the source?
Sure, it mentions things like automated email campaigns using OMail, scheduling meetings or invites with OConnect, maybe helping with recruitment through Odesk.
Okay.
And it even notes a tool called OLID, apparently in development, for automating sales follow-ups. A key point here is the AI learning aspect. It supposedly learns from how you use the platform to tailor the experience over time.
Right, adapting to you. So all this leads back to the money potential, the eligibility for earnings bid. Who actually qualifies to earn based on this material?
It clarifies it's usually linked to certain statuses, primarily founding members or people acting as resellers or affiliates, or even just having an active O-wallet where funds can collect.
And how does activating one product, say OConnect, relate to potentially earning?
The source explains that each activation you trigger, whether it's your own purchase or maybe one you referred if you're an affiliate, makes you eligible. Eligible for potential residual commissions, for bonus pools, and for income based on your team's activity.
And you see all that potential building up in your O-wallet dashboard.
That's the idea, yes. Tracked right there, aiming for that transparency they mentioned.
Okay, so there's the individual benefit, the tools, the potential earnings. But the force also talks about a bigger picture, right? A system-wide contribution.
It does. It suggests your activation isn't just about your account. It contributes more broadly. Well, first, it contributes to the global revenue pool. That pool is apparently used to reward other active members and, keep the platform running and developing.
So it fuels the whole operation.
Kind of. And it also says your activity helps improve the AI itself. More user interaction means more data to refine the algorithms.
Makes sense. Data feeds the AI.
And interestingly, the source specifically calls out contributing to community empowerment, especially mentioning potential impact in developing regions by providing these digital tools and income opportunities.
So each click, each activation ripples outwards. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. If you boil it all down, what does the source say you really get when you activate?
It gives a nice summary. Benefit 1, immediate product access. Tools are ready to use instantly.
Right, and number 2.
Significant AI assistance. That's the automation, the insights, the system learning your behavior.
Okay, and third, the money side.
Yep, the automated commission triggers. That seamless processing of potential earnings for you and maybe others connected to you.
And fourth, that wider ripple effect.
Exactly, the global impact, contributing to that digital empowerment mission they talk about.
And finally,
full transparency. Supposedly, everything actions, earnings is logged and visible in your dashboard.
wow. Okay, when you lay it out like that, from clicking buy to potentially earning and impacting globally, it's quite a complex automated journey triggered by one action.
It really paints a picture of a deeply integrated system, doesn't it? Handling user access, finance, marketing hints, ongoing support, all automated from that first activation.
So for you listening in, understanding this flow described in the source is pretty insightful. It shows the mechanics, the automation level, and, well, how your own activity is meant to slide into this larger automated picture.
Yeah, it's definitely presented as more than just buying software off a shelf. That purchase kicks off a whole cascade of automated internal processes, including financial ones, which is quite different.
So here's something to think about, based on what we've discussed from the source. How does this kind of deeply automated, interconnected activation process fundamentally change the game compared to the old way of just buying and using software? Especially when potential earnings and even a global mission are woven right into that initial click. What does that imply about the future of digital ecosystems?
System.
That's right. We've got this document titled ONPASSIVE Automated Commission System Explained, and that's our focus.
Exactly. So our mission here is really to unpack what this specific document outlines. How does it present the system? What are the key claims it makes about earning commissions? We'll guide you through the details it provides.
Okay, so where do we start? The foundation.
Yeah, let's start there. The document connects it all back to Ash Mufareh's stated mission. Something about creating sustainable wealth for members.
Right, and the central claim here is quite specific. It's presented as an AI-powered automated revenue sharing model, not your typical structure.
And it links earnings directly to, well, product participation and just general activity within their ecosystem, right?
Precisely. And this is a point the document really emphasizes. It says the system does not rely on recruiting. That's a big claim.
So income generation is purely based on using and subscribing to their digital services, according to this source.
That's the assertion. And it points to the O-Wallet infrastructure as the kind of core engine that makes this automation happen.
Handling the processing, the distribution, all of that.
And it also makes a point of saying the system includes both the early founding members and the later resellers.
Okay, so how does the document say people actually earn? It breaks down different commission types.
It does. First up is what it calls usage-based commission. Sometimes it also calls it product subscription income.
Right, so this is earned when people, users, customers subscribe to ONPASSIVE tools. The document lists examples like OConnect, OMail, ODesk, OShop too.
Exactly those. And it describes a tiered structure here, saying commissions can be earned up to 10 levels deep within a network.
10 levels. And the idea is the higher the tier or the more engagement there is overall, the greater the potential income, not just from your own subs, but from people below you.
That's the claim presented. More activity deeper down potentially means more earnings flowing up.
And it makes a pretty strong claim about automation here. It says it's 100% AI managed.
Yeah, the document states that explicitly. Designed to eliminate manual work, eliminate bias.
Interesting. Okay, what's next in the document?
It moves on to a special category, Founders Commission. This is specifically for those who joined before the public launched the founding members.
Ah, the early adopters. So what special benefits does the document say they receive?
It lists quite a few, things like lifetime residual commissions, getting priority when the AI distributes traffic, or places new people in teams,
Okay.
special shares in global profit pools, and something called auto team growth, where the system itself helps build their network.
Right, that auto team growth sounds like it connects to the next bit. Team-based earnings, or what the document calls AI autopilot. This seems crucial for that no recruitment angle.
It really does. The document essentially describes a system designed to automatically build your network for you. It uses what it calls an AI